We back the Star 5 podcast. Once again, we are very, very sorry about yesterday. We was on fucking like we both was kind of using like AOL free CDs yesterday, and the trial ran out. So our connections was shoddy, spotty, dopalicious, and just absolutely messed up. But we was just gonna record this part, but we just say, you know what, fuck it, let's give the people what they like, and let's go give it to them live one time. You'll get this in podcast form later, a little bit later today. But yeah, TJ, we're up to the top 5 lists of scammers and scandals that we decided to talk about because this shit is a lot of funny things have been happening, especially because we were talking about uh Bishop Sycamore, the school that I
Bishop
tried out
Sycamore.
for. Let me try to do what I tried to do yesterday and share to people my trying to be introduced into the school. Let me pull that up as my daughter is trying to get me from behind. Pause.
Wait, mommy, the block?
Yeah, I need the whole thing.
The funny shit about me doing that I didn't realize until the edit was done and I watched it is when the helmet hit the floor, the music stopped and it just was perfect. It just was perfect. But I got more on that later on because I actually met with the coaches. I tried to give them the paperwork and all that, but enough of that. But this list was inspired by Bishop Sycamore. And I'm already going to give it up. This is my number one. Bishop Sycamore to me is the most ultimate scam in sports history. Like, forget what you think about Pete Rose. Forget what you think about, which we're probably going to mention him, Tim Donaghy, or anybody who bet in the games, Tanya Harding breaking knees, having her knee broken or whatever. This Bishop Sycamore story is longer than what we learned about just this past week. But because it's the top 5, we like to go back and forth. TJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with 5. I'm going to go down to 1. So you briefly mentioned their name. I'm going back to January 1994, where a young Nancy Kerrigan was about to take the ice when she was assailed by a strange man with a police baton and attacked her knees. And it was the ex-husband or husband at that time of Tanya Harding. Little did we know that Tanya Harding's husband at the time was the assailant trying to ruin Nancy Kerrigan's career and further his wife's career. Shout out to him for being a true writer. You can't be mad at that.
Right.
If anybody had a woman's back, he had his woman's back that day. But what was crazy is that she recovered and they both performed in the Olympics in the 94 Winter Olympics with Kerrigan ended up getting a silver medal. No sooner after all that happened, it came out that it was Tanya Harding's husband, Jeff Gillooly, what a name, who was instructed by Tanya to take out her opposition. Literally meaning cap her at the knees is what he did. Followed the instructions to a T. Didn't follow up though because they got caught. So that was a crazy scandal at the time. Nobody had ever heard of no shit like that, especially in the United States. It might have happened in some other countries, but not here. So yeah, that was that was my top 5.
So yeah, that's definitely something that would have happened in another country that would have got swept under the rug and nobody would ever found out about at all. But we're gonna go to another country for number 5, something that I tried to start off with yesterday, and that is South Sudanese basketball player Jonathan Nicola. Now, this dude, 6'9", tried to go to high school as a junior in Canada because he was fleeing all the violence and stuff that was happening in the South Sudan. But when he got there, he didn't reveal to the people that he was actually 30 years old. Now, this happened back in 2016 when this happened. And funny, when this happened, JP and I actually added him to the Koontang Clan list for such an ignorant, asinine type of thing to do. But how he got caught was because he was arrested for being under violation of the Immigration Refugee Protection Act in Canada. He got bagged and snatched up for that. And that's how it came out that this guy who was acting like he was a 17-year-old high school junior
Black don't crack.
Came to found out that he was 30 years old, busting high school kids.
Don't crack, brother.
Word up,
He fooled all them white folks.
From the motherland, especially straight from the motherland, right? His black definitely didn't crack.
Had them all fooled.
That was number 5 because at the time, I mean, hey, people tried dumb stuff all the time before, but at least try to do it like he should have maybe just tried for college. Like, how many times, like in like the early 2000s or the late 90s, we would hear about that one guy who decided to go back to college and be like 35, 36 years old and like making a football team and at least playing like one snap on like the kickoff return team or something. Like, we've heard these stories before, but not to the level of you're going back almost 10 plus years to go play high school sports.
Your man went back damn near 15 years, bro.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, this is fucking insane. But yeah, that's why that list, that guy is the reason why he is on this list. And the reason why, like I said, when we created the Koontang Clan list for people of ignorance and people who do stupid stuff like this, he made it instantly. Well, this is a no-brainer.
Who's more stupid, the people that allowed him to register as a high school student, or him trying to get away with getting that? Well, he did get away with it. So yeah. I mean,
devil's advocate says, devil's advocate says he beat the system, right?
Yo, he definitely did. And shout out to J.R. Smith for going back to college and making the NCAA golf team as a student athlete.
Yeah, actually, I talked about, shout out to the brothers over at the hashtag Blackout Podcast. I was a guest on their show last Sunday, but the show didn't release till 2 days ago, Friday. So go follow hashtag Blackout Podcast. Don't type the # when you look for them. Actually type out hashtag when you look for them. It makes it a little easier. You can hear we talked about that on there, and that he was able to make it because he went to the league straight from high school. So he had full eligibility. Yeah. Now some was also trying to add that because of the NIL, that's also kind of aided towards the process of, them kind of letting him come back, because he spent 16 years in the league as a pro athlete, won a championship, like he's done it all. He's made millions. And as I said on this, why not go back to school and finish your degree when you've made millions? Because if you were smart and you still got millions in the bank, here's a check
know how to keep
for the tuition. But here's a check for your tuition to start each and every
money.
Year. Never have any debt. And with the life that he lived in the league, he can go back and teach a lot of these kids at the HBCU, 1, how to make it, 2, how to thrive and survive, maintain your money, manage your stuff smartly, even though, it could be perceived that he didn't, Mr. Hennessy boy or whatever. But he showed people how to live life too. You know, again, shirts
Indeed.
off, Hennessy bottles, all that stuff. So some would say he lived the full life, quote unquote, as the NBA superstar. And for him to get the ability to go back to a HBCU on top of that and be able to perform in golf, like that's cool. And I'm sure they did it obviously because it was a different sport. Like he can't go backwards and play basketball. That's canceled out because he played pro.
Right.
But imagine that, like he would go in and bust everybody's ass, lead North Carolina A&T to a national championship out of nowhere. Like that would be crazy.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
But
That would be
hopefully
crazy.
that dude Jonathan, because again, this story was 2016. So hopefully that dude is doing all right. Hopefully he didn't get sent back to South Sudan and possibly
Shit, he better have a job.
Yeah. They better give him a job. At least a coaching job or something.
He needs a job, bro.
Hit your number 4. Let's get to number 4.
Number 4 is Timothy Francis Donaghy, the former professional basketball referee who worked in the NBA. He worked there for 13 seasons from 94 to 07 until he was caught actually gambling on the games. Your man really had made calls that affected the point spread in those games, and he got caught by the FBI. He pleaded guilty to 2 federal charges, was sentenced to 15 months in the feds, served 11 months at a prison camp in Pensacola, Florida, and then the remainder of his sentence at a halfway house, but only to get sent back in August for violating his release terms. He served out his sentence and was released back in 09. If I was an NBA player and his calls affected my games back then, I would have beat his ass. That's money out of my pocket that he's taking. Playoff standings, stats. If you're trying to hit a certain number for your contract and he's cutting the game, he's making calls against you that you're trying to do. There's a lot of incentive clauses in these NBA contracts. If you hit certain parameters, you get, kick-in bonuses and stuff like that. If he's affected your money in any way, shape, or form like that, he deserves to get his ass beat. But I'm glad he's got caught. They don't know how long he was actually doing the point spread thing. They caught him for the last 2 years of his career. But who knows how many games he affected, how much money he actually banked. You know what I'm saying? That was some serious shit back then.
Yeah, to me, this is like that difference between like what he did and what Pete Rose did. Like Pete Rose did it as a manager and didn't and always played to win.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was the difference with
right.
Pete Rose always played to win, whether you've seen it, whether you perceive it differently or not. Taking the man's word for what it was, because he had eventually confessed and admitted to it. It took him a few decades, but he at least admitted to it eventually. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That man should be in the Hall of Fame. But a guy like Tim Donaghy, absolutely not, because you're not even a player. You're the official.
Yeah.
You have the
total control
power.
of the game.
Absolutely. But funny that bringing him up, because not too long ago, I think I have the year. Oh no, I think it might have been this year. Yeah, it was this year, early this year. Tim Donaghy was brought out to be a quote unquote referee on MLW Wrestling. I mean, now if he wanted to be, this would be the perfect thing for him to go into if he wanted like a quote unquote real job as an official again. Go into wrestling as a referee, and he could be like today's Nick Patrick when Nick Patrick was in the NWO. Nick Patrick was the quote unquote corrupt referee for the NWO. If he went back and did some more with MLW or maybe Ring, like they could run the corrupt, crooked referee angle once again with a guy like him, because his story writes itself. Yeah. And he could come out on top again over the scandal that has now been over a decade ago. You know, like that if he would have stick back and go back into professional wrestling with the one appearance he did with MLW, that's if I don't even know if he's still there. He could still be there. I'm not sure. I didn't dig further into it because when you mentioned him, I just happened to have remembered. Like, wait a second, like I know he showed up somewhere, so I had to Google it while you were talking. But yeah, man, like if he wants to quote unquote make money again, use his name for fame. Professional wrestling
Yeah,
is the way to go.
yeah.
Like let him do that. Be the disgraced referee as he already is, the disgraced corrupt referee, and that
Living your light.
that would work, man. That would work. But my number 4. After researching more scandals, man, this was making number 1 on a lot of places' lists. The Spanish Paralympic basketball team from the year 2000 was one of the biggest, greatest scams ever. Because within the Paralympics, it's noted that you're supposed to, to determine your physical handicap. And I apologize for that outside noise. My kids are actually decided to want to be outside. Of all days when it's gray and cloudy out here, not when it was sunny and nice and shining outside, they wanted to keep their ass in the house then. But they want to be outside when it's cool and cloudy. But I digress. But this team, right, according to the rules in the Paralympics, a participant's IQ has to be less than 70. Every single one of these athletes' IQ was above 70, deeming them normal with no mental handicap whatsoever. And I think this thing stretched as far to the point where some of these people weren't even handicaps, but they did this all to win a damn basketball medal that they eventually got stripped of because they were found out to have fully functioning brains. Like, how much of a moral shitbag do you have to be to want to go dupe physically and mentally handicapped people out of a medal, TJ? That is like the lowest of lows type of thing.
That's some high level fuckery right there, bro. That is some high level fuckery right there. They should have got like the NCAA ban type shit for the Olympics for like a couple of years behind that shit. That was bad. To dupe people who are already handicapped, that takes some balls, bro. I don't know if I could live with myself if I was asked to sign up for some shit like that. Ain't no gold medal worth duping people who are already handicapped. That's just way beyond fucked up.
And they had to give the medals back. They had to give the medals back. So what'd you do it all for? What'd you do it for? You didn't even get to keep the medals. So you didn't even get to keep the medals. And in the year 2000, like 3D printing wasn't even a thing yet. Like you could have, like if it was now, like you could have fake 3D printed yourself a medal just to keep it for the memory as they took the real one or something like, something stupid like that. But
that's some high fuck stickery right there, bro. That's some. Woo. Somebody should have got their ass beat behind that. That's foul. That is foul.
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. But number 3.
My number 3 is the Canadian sprinter hailed as the fastest man in the world, Ben Johnson.
Wow. Woo. Throwback.
Woo. Yeah, that's a throwback. We're going back to 88 now.
And remember how jacked that dude, like he was like,
dude was a bull. Dude was a bull, no?
That's like, imagine a hippo in the wild running at you. Like they say hippos are faster than Usain Bolt.
Your man broke the world record in the 100 meters, only to find out days later that he had taken the banned anabolic steroid stanozolol, prompting Olympic organizers to strip him immediately of his gold medal. It helped generate more and better testing methods in the Olympics after that. and to find out that this carried over into Major League Baseball for overdoping in Major League Baseball when the guys were doing the clear and all that other good bullshit. So credit Ben Johnson for being creative, but also changing the narrative in the industry to test more competently for their athletes for taking enhanced performance enhancing drugs. But that dude got on the starting line. His eyes were like bloodshot red, bro. And this nigga was swole.
Yeah, I remember that because like he was a dude that really wasn't winning like that before to my recollection, and he just started to get that Olympics he just stomped everybody out with that performance.
He
and
smoked Carl
it
Lewis,
was
bro. And
literally
Carl
like,
Lewis
yeah.
was fast at that time. Carl Lewis was putting up work.
Yeah, it was
And,
literally like a holy shit. Who is this guy? Well, people knew who he was, but they also knew he wasn't close to what these cats were doing at the time. You know what I'm saying? It just out of nowhere, just gone.
Gone. So yeah, that was serious.
Right. Well, my number 3, I'm going to the world of college football. But not by way of the game itself, but by way of everybody's favorite linebacker out of Notre Dame, Manti Te'o. I know we all remember Manti Te'o. Excuse y'all, there's
Yes.
a motorcycle passing by. But let's say everybody remembers Manti Te'o. This dude was, I believe, a Heisman finalist. He helped Notre Dame get one of their higher rankings for a season during his time in the NCAA. But this guy, decent looking person too, like shouldn't have had a problem trying to get women, nothing of that nature and all that. This guy thought it was cool to fake having a girlfriend.
At the time, at the time when social media is popping off too, bro.
No. Well, when social media was at its rawest and like everywhere was like the Wild West.
Yeah.
But let me read this this piece of this article as written. It was on Bleacher Report. It said the story of Notre Dame linebacker Manti Te'o losing both his grandmother and girlfriend to cancer on the same day was one of the most heartbreaking and inspirational stories of 2012. The news of the tragedies that befell Te'o on September 11th of last year, this was at the time this article was written, sparked a public outpouring of sympathy and support for Te'o. And then the stories apparently ran in the media about the death of Te'o's girlfriend, Lene Kiku, and the standout season the Notre Dame captain had achieved despite what appeared to be the staggering loss of 2 loved ones. But recent events have shed new light on Te'o's personal life. And from an article, this was Deadspin who revealed this. They have embroiled the 21-year-old football player into media frenzy concerning his relationship with his girlfriend. Deadspin article showed that Te'o's girlfriend was also a hoax. A phony person who never succumbed to cancer, wasn't buried on September 22nd, and never existed in the first place. Son. Now, we just talked about lowest of lows when it comes to the Spanish Paralympic basketball team. But why, oh, why did you have to tack on the girlfriend? Like, if your grandmother died to cancer, rest in peace, condolences and all that, the sympathy would have been there, right there with you from the gate. Right out the gate. You didn't have to tack on this fake girlfriend. You didn't. Like, this was as fake as like Cedar's World on BET back in the day. like that was his girlfriend, you could say, was something like that. Like, why? We all said why when it happened, and he got the roasting that he earned.
Well deserved. I don't. I like you said, why? Like there was no even reason to go there. There wasn't even no reason to make it up. But you're what, 19, 20, 18, 20-year-old college student? You don't know any better, bro. You don't know any better.
No,
Let me make some.
he was 21. He was 21. So again, not to
Where's
bring
the
up
people?
Sakari, but the same way people are making up excuses for Sakari for a person who is quote unquote an adult at 21 years old.
True.
You ain't no child no more. Okay, as everybody loved to say to make the excuses. Yeah, we all made mistakes. We all made mistakes until we're 30, 40 years old. Like there's never gonna not be a time in life where we don't make a mistake here and there within a year.
Yeah, but where was his boy at or something to be like, yo, don't do this shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what you're thinking about. This is not
Right.
a good idea. Or his man was like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I think we should ride with it.
Right. Like you don't have no real friends. That's
None.
what this kind of saying. You don't have no real friends.
None. That's crazy. I don't know. I give him an A+ for creativity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he could have simply just said, "Here's Miss Kiku right here."
Yeah. Why?
I mean, it up. I put a fancy little glove on it, and
he
go to
was
town.
a star. He was a star athlete on a big name school. It's not like he couldn't have bagged one shorty and been like, "Hey, I need to rock with you for like the next 3 months."
Yo, who
What's
wasn't
good?
throwing it, or who wasn't throwing it at him already?
Right.
Well, you gotta
Right.
say, nah. Cyberspace show is more important. It's like the cats that are marrying the freaking those real blow up dolls that are the
Oh
real
my
dolls.
god.
Like, come on.
Ooh. That's an oxymoron in itself. Real doll. Like, where are we going with the language right now, bro? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? It's a doll. There's no such thing as a fake doll. It's a fucking
Right.
doll, bro. It's a real doll, fake doll. What are we talking about?
Exactly. So maybe
Watch how
that's
you word things.
maybe that's who the girlfriend was on that night of September 11th. It just happened at popped. Maybe.
Ooh. She's floating somewhere.
Yeah,
She's floating away somewhere.
Flex Seal wasn't available at that time.
No.
No, I think it was actually. I think it was just a Flex Seal spray at that time. I think so. I don't know, but he probably couldn't get none in fast enough to fix the hole, to patch the mouth. Like he probably ripped the mouth or something.
Oh, bro, stop.
But anyway, man, we up to number 2 now.
Yeah, my number 2, we're going to keep it in the land of college football, and we're going to talk about Southern Methodist University, 1987. They got caught in one of the biggest college scandals in college history. The Pony Express with Eric Dickerson, one of my favorite football players of all time.
Who will still deny every bit of what happened till this day.
As he should. If you've seen the
Pony Excess 30 for 30. Yeah.
Woo.
You know.
So this happened over a period of the late 70s to the mid 80s, and this was the only time a school has received the so-called death penalty in college football due to the maintenance of a slush fund that was used for players to pay them under the table to attend their university to come and play. As a direct result of the repeated violations, the NCAA instituted a rule change that stiffened penalties for multiple rule violations over a certain period of time. Most notably is now the NCAA is now required to consider canceling a school season, a step known as properly as the death penalty. Cost this school tons of money, tons of recruits, so bad that the Mustangs only had one winning season over the next 20 years and failed to make a bowl game until 2009 and would not return to national rankings until 2019. So we're talking over damn near 30 years
of recovery. Yeah,
of recovery for this one death penalty. So
yeah.
for much, it hurt the school so much so that the NCAA has never instituted that penalty on any other sports program since.
And if we were
Ridiculous.
thinking, if we actually did more research and thinking about, because we just revealing this list now, like we didn't give each other our lists ahead of time. We told each other a couple things we were gonna pick, but if we did more digging, we could have found probably several teams, several schools that should have received the death penalty.
Oh
Like
hell
Louisville
yeah!
was one of them. With what was it?
With Rick
Bobby
Pitino.
Petrino, I think. No, Bobby
Rick Pitino.
Petrino.
Oh yeah,
Not
Bobby.
college. I'm thinking in football. Something happened
Oh,
with Bobby
Petrino.
Petrino.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, yeah, Rick Pitino also in basketball. Like we could have found a number of different stories that there should have been death penalties instituted. But hey, SMU they came back. They should kind of thank Lane Kiffin in a way for being the name to bring them back to some type of they're not really of a still of a notoriety. The notoriety that we think of when it comes to SMU is we're thinking back then and
right,
how
right.
they were a powerhouse for that short period of time and all that.
Well, they were essentially like wiped off the map for like college football. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody, you didn't hear about them. They got no TV coverage unless you went to
Right,
the school or like you lived in the area. Like you didn't hear shit
right.
about them for years. Like another team that should have probably got that was Baylor when they covered up the death of the college athlete. Like
Just recent, this maybe like a
yeah,
couple years ago. Yeah.
yeah, like that shit was crazy foul. Like
Mm-hmm.
the coach was involved in everything. Like that was they should have received that type of harsh penalty. So
Yep. Yep. But harsh penalties, which was only a third place ranking in the Little League Baseball World Series, which I still hate the Little League World Series. Personal for me. Personal for me. It's a silly personal, but it's personal for me. But we're going back to 2001 with the great Danny Almonte is the
ooh,
number two. Danny Almonte, um, this kid was pitching no hitters. Couple, let's see. He where was it? And he pitched a few no hitters, couple one hitters. Was hitting speeds of 77 miles an hour with his fastball in Little League. I knew a couple people who definitely hit at like 70 back then too, but
right.
that's part. There's a part of the reason, going back to Little League baseball is part of the reason why I hate the Little League World Series. But I digress. But it was a reporter. It was a reporter from Sports Illustrated who discovered Danny's birth certificate, showing that he was actually 14. And I believe within the Little League World Series, as far as because there is a Babe Ruth World Series too, but we only see the younger kids. I believe that ends at 12, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and he was already 2 years older than everybody else, killing them. And it's still crazy to know. Obviously, it's a team sport, but it's still crazy to know that his arm carried them so far to where they only finished in third place overall and not won at all with an arm like that. But this kid made national news. He was on everywhere, ESPN, any kind of sports station you could think of. Like he was, despite who I don't even remember who won. That's how big he was in the 2001 Little League World Series. It made me even tune into a couple of games because this kid was ringing bells out there. And then it was all shattered when it found out he was 14 years old. But I believe he might still be today coaching baseball. I think somewhere still in New York. I just don't remember. I didn't dig further into his life because all we really was bringing up on how this was my number two scam in sports of all time. But you remember him, TJ. That's especially. Were you in the
Yeah.
group at that time?
Um. Was I? Was this? What year was that?
2001.
No, I had stopped playing sports in school by then. But yeah, I was out of school. Yeah, that was 10 years after I graduated high school. Yeah, so
Oh no, but I was saying, were you still living in the Bronx at the time?
no. I moved from the Bronx in '82. So I was in Mount Vernon for a long time.
No, okay.
But
But
yeah, I
still,
remember
but
that.
up north though,
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that scandal like it was yesterday. Yeah, and I was like, nah, he couldn't have been that old. And then when you see him just like dominating, like just overpowering kids, and he was like the tallest kid in the whole game. It did look kind of funny. So um, chalk it up to nosy white people again. You know what I'm saying? To be getting your business. But yeah, I mean, that was foul. They shouldn't have done that. They knew how old the kid was. It was unfair to all those kids that participated, and you took their joy away from. That's something so hard to get into, Dan. You know,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know that's a once in a lifetime deal for most of them kids, and to have that stripped away at that point, yeah, that was kind of fucked up. That was kind of fucked up.
yeah, definitely. But fuck it, because the ability to even make the All Star team was taken away from me because of a coach's son move, who happens to be my boy
Um,
still to this day. He
man,
happens to be my boy still to this day. But I was the best player on our team. He might have been the second best at the time, right? My father and his father were coaching the team together. Like my father was helping him out, but I was
right.
the best player on the team. And the night of this one year, the night of All Star picking, West Shore Little League. I don't remember what year it was. We were playing on the first field that is next to Walker Street. So think about a basic 2-lane street with parking in New York City, right?
Hmm.
What was a outfield in Little League was what? Maybe 250, 300
Yeah, 300 feet. Yeah,
at least, not
yeah.
Babe Ruth
Two,
level.
280, 285 down the line and 300 feet center field type shit. Yeah.
Yeah, so 280 something, right? So this night I hit a home run, right? And I didn't hit many, but I was a solid hitter. But at home run wise, I didn't strike enough to get him up and out. I was
Right.
a hitter though. But this night I sent the shot out the field, a home run. The fence that was enclosed in the yard was maybe a good 10 to 15 feet, 10 feet off, maybe 15, yeah, about 10 feet off of the left field fence.
Right. Over
Over
that
that,
fence.
across the street, over a fence that stood about 12 feet across the street, and
Damn, Dan.
you add on a sidewalk space of probably what, 8 feet from curb to the fence line, and another at least 50 to 75 feet in that yard. No bullshit. If I had my father walking down the block right now, yeah, I would put him on to tell you how far that fucking ball went on the night of All Star picking. And we hung out at that field. I hung out intentionally, waiting to see, because people were sitting around waiting to see who made the team, and I didn't. And that's how
Wow, that crushed you.
in most places, that's how you made it to be eligible to be able to compete in the tournaments to get to the Little League World Series. You had
Right.
to
To
make
get
a
on the
league,
road team. Yep.
right? You had to make a league's all-star team and then go. Some of these places
Yeah.
out there, they'll just either take the best teams from the league, or like same thing, will pick some of the best players. But up here, it used to be whoever made the all-star team made the team that would travel around and play the other all-star
Yeah.
teams to then
Yeah.
progress from tournament to place to finally make it. I didn't even fucking make our team. Like I said, after the making a shot like that, that's why I've always had my anti against the Little League World Series. Personal. It's always been personal.
A lot of nepotism. No, but you're right. There's a lot of nepotism in Little League baseball, bro. I mean, that's just facts. No matter how good
Uh-huh.
you are, you ain't blood related. You might not make that squad. But you're right. Up here in the north, we took the best of every player on every team. We put them on the squad, and that made the traveling team. And that traveling team went against other squads. And let me tell you, I
Right.
was on a couple of those. Those other teams was no joke, B. A lot of you playing
Mhm.
some real competition out there, and it's serious. Then you go to see what teams got money by the towns you travel to, by their stadiums, how dope their fields were compared to what you were playing on. It gave you a different perspective of how the other half lived too when you're coming up. You know, they don't talk
Yeah.
about that cultural shift when you go to like Greenwich, Connecticut, and playing their All Star team, and they got some official Nike uniforms, and the fucking field just looks like a mini Major League Baseball stadium and shit like that. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. You experience a lot, you learn a lot, but yeah, you don't want nobody to shortchange your chance at getting the best out of you. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with that. You got a right to be bitter, bro. I'm not mad at you.
At least somebody understands. Some people be like, that's so long. I'm like, nah, fuck it. That's
nah.
life, son. That's for life.
That's a wound. That's a wound. That's a deep wound. That shit takes forever to heal. That's a
All right,
scar
like
for life.
one of these days, just for sake of what I described to you, like I'm gonna go because I go down that block often, and I see no games being played there. I look at that field like, good for them. There's no more Western. I'm that fucking petty, but
Yo, man.
to be honest, I think somebody does own the field now. There was a traveling team, like there's an actual traveling team. I think
Okay.
that does play there, so it does get used because let's keep it real. I don't like to not see places like that get used because kids need something, you
Right.
know. And
Right.
in my era, there were like even in that league, you seen black kids out there playing. There was only a handful of us, and from my era, like I still know almost every one of the cats that was in the league. You know, I played with
Hmm.
a few of them too. You know, but it was a home for us. Like it was something for everybody to.
Yeah.
If your parents had the money, just sign, and that's what we played. We played
Oh.
Little League baseball. I
Oh.
didn't play football when I
No
was younger
doubt.
because I was too heavy for my age group. My father didn't want me to play with the older kids.
Right.
He should have. He should have,
Right.
because when I fucking was 18, I was out there playing in the rough touch league against cats who were 30, 40, 28, 27. Like I was already playing older people when I got
Right.
older playing football, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I should have played that. Like he should have let me play football then, but it
No,
wasn't.
you're
I
right.
played baseball first because
Yeah.
baseball in my house was my father's game. Like
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
lesser
No.
known thing. Yeah, yeah,
No.
no, I was
My pops. Yeah, my pops played baseball when he was younger too. So that's what we grew up on. You know what I'm saying? And that was the first sport in my house. When we moved to Mount Vernon, Mount Vernon still is a predominantly black city. So we had all the kids. I mean, there was some white kids, but they were sprinkled in. You know what I'm saying? We played against like a majority of all black kids against each other, and it brought people from all different perspectives. You had kids with doing okay. You had the kids from the hood. We all got cool because we played against each other. These are kids that we wouldn't see because they went to other schools. But when we got to the field, you got to know them a little better. You got to hang out and stuff like that. And then you grew, that's how friendships were growing out of that and shit like that. And
yeah,
then,
for real.
during the weekends, you getting your squad up to play cross town against your other squad, and we playing in some back lot and we getting it in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, baseball brought a lot of camaraderie. It showed you about sportsmanship, taught you about bragging, talking shit, the whole 9 yards. It brought a lot to the table in terms of developing friendships and getting along with people and stuff like that. So I mean, we need more. We need that back in our communities
Yeah,
a lot
I
more
mean,
often. Get these
a
kids
few
outside
years
and
ago,
shit.
like I had the idea, like, does Staten Island deserve something like that? And it's like I can't find the time to make to it, even though I probably could. But I wanted to do like something for like the hood kids, like something for Park Hill, Stapleton, New Brighton, like bring the kids down, make it free for them to be able to play and learn the game. Like let these kids come learn the game of baseball, and then maybe they'll want to play as they
Right.
get bigger, as they get older. It's still an idea that I have, possibly make a league or something of that, but like try to make it to where the expense is very, very little out of the parents' pockets. Maybe the most they gotta buy is the kids' shoes.
You gotta at
Because
least let them buy the cleats. Yeah, you gotta buy the
yeah,
cleats.
because you gotta
You
get
could,
in the store, try them on, and then
right.
kids feet grow. Like my brother tried to give me a pair of sneakers that for one of my daughters who wears what now is my nephew's old size. Kids' feet grow
Right.
like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
it's
that's what I meant to
crazy.
say
Yeah,
by
it's
that. But
crazy.
kids' feet grow crazy. So at least
Yeah.
let the parents just do that. But have the bats, have uniforms, like shit like that.
Right.
Like
Yeah, the bats, the uniforms, and maybe cleats and a glove. You gotta if you can at least get cleats and a glove, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have to buy the top of the line shit, which can run you hundreds of dollars. You know, you can spend $150 and get cleats, a decent pair of cleats and a glove for your kid. You know, that's like $75 a pop, you know, $50 a pop. Especially at these kids' age. If you're doing younger, like if you can get them like 7 or 8 years old and start like a little minor league team, like a minor league, and then build those kids up, and then you know, as you get into little league and like the traveling teams, that's when really the expense starts kicking in. But it doesn't cost too much to get a little kid a glove and a pair of shoes to play baseball in, and let them have some
right,
fun and
right,
enjoy the game and shit. I
right.
agree
So
with you on that.
it's a goal that's still there eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like that's if I even stay in New York after I retire and all that. But it's something, man. Because it's like it,
Yeah,
the sport. We just see it in the majors as a whole. It's still
right.
less. I think the numbers dropped less than 88%
Well,
on
dude,
black folks, black Americans playing baseball. People of color as a whole, it's still the minority, but the people of color part is mostly from Latin American and Hispanic,
right,
which is
right.
no problem with that because we know that game is what gets them out of poverty. Just like how football and basketball is usually the games that get most of our people out of poverty.
Well, there's a big controversy going on with the minor league situation right now because these guys are barely getting like $300 or $400 a month. You know what I'm saying? To be on these teams to try to make pro. I don't know how
Yeah,
you can survive off of that shit and still go out and perform at the highest levels that you're expected to make the big team. Because if you're not getting signed to like you know, like these some of these Spanish cats are getting signed for like $1 million to come out and be on the you know to go to the farm system. These guys are career professional baseball players just in a minor league, and they're making shit money. Like some of
yeah.
these
Well,
guys are barely making $30,000 to $40,000 a year.
yeah, well, I mean, just speaking on that there, that system has to be kind of ratified or rectified or rearranged in some sort of a way to make it make sense. Because you
Well,
got
you
it's single A, double A, triple A,
yeah, and
another A, like there's so many different levels that you have to dig yourself out of. And then two, let's remember, once you're in the league, like I think average career length is a little bit longer than most other sports when it comes to
it
Major League
is,
Baseball.
it is
So we're seeing the same teams year after year after year after year till these cats retire, or the top guys are the ones that get shuffled around, while the minor league guys are the ones used as trade bait, used as pieces here and there. But and they'll only use like the best of those athletes too,
right, right,
but that
right.
that whole single, double, triple, like that has to get condensed down in some sort of a way. Make it a
Well,
one, maybe two league thing, because they just to make it make sense for people. Because
I think
I still don't understand how many fucking levels there are.
there's
There's
three
too many levels.
levels. There's three levels, and then they play winter ball in like Puerto Rico or the Dominican Republic or Costa Rica or Mexico. They got winter leagues, and some of them guys go play ball in Japan in the off season. So you got that as well. You know what I'm saying? But I think more onus needs to be put on the big teams, the major league teams. These are $1 billion organizations. Why aren't you churning some of that money back into the minor league prospects if you want to continue and nurture the best quality you can get? Then you should at
Right,
least give these guys a livable wage and
right,
room
right.
and board so they can perform at a higher level. You know what I'm saying? That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like you guys, you can't just pour all money into the main organization. These guys had to start from the minor league somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, we might have to have this. I'm gonna talk to this dude that I work with one of these days, the young boy who's on the job now, and get him on the show so we could talk about the minor league system and how it's set up. Because this kid actually played minor league baseball,
Oh,
and
okay.
according to him, he says he does part time like baseball coaching, like he does like
Mhm.
personal workout type coaching and stuff on the
Right.
side of the job and all that. So I'm gonna talk to my man Matt one day and see if we could get him on just to specifically talk about that, to specifically talk
what's
about
up.
like what the minor league system setup is and all of that.
Right.
Because I'm again, I could do as much research as I want to, but you know me, like my brain is everywhere. It's in all over the place, trying to find whatever the next ideas are, stuff like that. So I could sit here and just listen and break it. I mean, read up on it, research, break it down for myself. But when you are cool with somebody who was there, why not get it straight
Right.
from the real source?
Why not?
Yeah. But we did that whole soliloquy about basketball. We're finally up to number one. And to be honest, TJ, I think this is gonna be a standalone. Like I might save that other piece of the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Okay.
maybe not, because that one was so damaged from
Right.
it's gonna need so much editing. That might just be what it is, and this might be the show itself. But
Okay.
we're finally up to number one.
Number one is the former disgraced 7-time Tour de France bicyclist Lance. I still didn't do it, Armstrong.
Live strong, live strong. I bought them.
Live
I bought a
strong.
pack of them bands too, because that was the
Everybody
dope
had
at
that
that time.
shit, bro.
That was,
Everybody had
I
that
think I
shit.
donated $25 to the Live Strong. You know,
Give
but
him props for generating so much money for cancer and cancer research. That's where it stops at. The whole like it's immediate stop. Immediate stop. Immediate stop. Going back to like 1998 till the U.S. United States Anti-Doping Agency found him guilty of doping and trafficking drugs in June, and in October banned him for life from cycling. He chose not to appeal. He got stripped of all of his achievements from 1998, including his 7 Tour de France titles. He still publicly denies he took performing enhancing drugs. This
Well,
scandal was
what they were
serious.
doing. But see, now here's the thing. Because what cyclists were doing was called blood doping.
Yes,
Do you know what the blood doping was?
that was swapping out their blood for somebody else's,
Fresh.
correct?
It was swapping out the older, quote unquote, old blood for fresh blood.
Right.
They would literally sit under an IV, and if you want to like say, it's like the money laundering of blood. Like it's washing. it's like washing your blood in a way. You know, not
That's
saying
crazy.
money laundering as an exact. Those who want to quote me exactly, but it's literally like washing your blood. Like you're doing an oil change on your system, kind of. So
Crazy.
you go in day after day after day, almost rejuvenated, refreshed with a brand new, instead of your body trying to replace everything that it lost on its own
Internally, yeah.
internally. Yeah, so that blood doping shit, and let's keep it real. It made it worse because of how much he won. There were full countries where the entire cycling team did it.
And he still couldn't
only
beat him.
handfuls would still get caught here and there. And yes, some of them still couldn't beat him. It goes to talking about baseball again and how everybody made a big deal about steroids, saying steroids made you jacked. Steroids got you all these home runs, this, that, and the third. Go ask Jose Canseco about how the game was for him after all them steroids. Yeah, he admitted to it and all that, but this man was barely Hall of Fame level after a while.
Yeah, no,
Think
he could.
about all the kids who come up from who were taking drugs in high school and college and making it to the pros and still couldn't hit worth a lick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's the drug aspect of everything isn't always the improvement. So but even though they'll still call it an enhancer, in cycling,
hey,
you're washing your blood is an enhancement because it's literally you're coming out as a brand new person each and every race, TJ.
you listen. I'm sure I could use a quick refresh right now.
I'll
But
take
yo,
it.
cycling, I didn't think it was that serious until I found out how long and how hard. But let's not get it twisted. Everybody cheats in that sport. There's no team that's clean, bro. Don't get it twisted. Everybody cheats in that sport. It's who cheats the best. And at that time, he was cheating the best way possible and used it to its full advantage. Like you said, it was the problem was he won 7 times. You know how
Right.
hard that is to do? It's one of the most grueling sports of all time. They're riding up and down mountains half the day. This shit is hard, bro. Cycling ain't
Yep.
no easy sport. You got to be one of the most fit person in the world to do that shit. And your
And
man,
everybody else was getting caught around him. That's the trippy part. Everybody else was getting caught around him.
hey, when you got that sponsor money coming in, that money travels well, bro. You can
And,
slide a few dollars here,
and you're
slide a
making a
few
name for the
dollars
sport.
there,
Yep.
and you putting it on. And when's the last time an American was so dominant in the Tour de France? Damn near unheard of. You know what I'm saying? Nah, they were gonna milk that cow for what it was worth, and they damn sure did.
Absolutely.
No, no,
Absolutely.
none of them sponsors gave that money back after for all the cheating he did.
Yep. That's why
He
I
didn't
kind
damn
of
sure get their money back.
that's why I kind of equate it back to Major League Baseball. The summer of '98, I will still stand on this to this day, saved Major League Baseball and brought Major League Baseball back. Major League
Sosa and
Baseball was
McGuire.
that's it. Brought back to prominence by two guys who tested positive. And
You can
then
take it back.
Barry Bonds got jealous, quote unquote, and destroyed those cats. But
He
never
destroyed.
tested positive. Never tested positive in the season.
He did it better. He did it better than the best. Allegedly,
Hey,
allegedly,
allegedly.
allegedly. Hey, man, one of the greatest linebackers of all time, Lawrence Taylor. He was on that white, and he was a monster. Okay?
Oh, that was a different performance enhancer though. My nose is running now for him. Shit.
That man was an animal. Okay, drugs and sports. It's like drugs and rap music. It's just synonymous, bro. You can't do one without
Right.
the other.
You know, it's funny. I just seen a commercial with Joe Theismann the other day. And the first thing I thought when I saw Joe Theismann was I looked at his legs. I looked at his legs to make sure he was walking straight. like that's how synonymous LT is. Like,
dude,
he's
did you know he didn't forgive Lawrence Taylor for years behind that shit? He was bitter.
And that's another thought I had. Does he still hate LT for that?
No,
Like,
he said he doesn't because it's like, but he took like 30 years to forgive LT. It was like LT didn't mean to break his leg. He just
totally
caught him when he planted his foot. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
LT hit him. He said he heard the crack.
yeah.
And if you watch that clip, as soon as he gets up, he's waving over to the sidelines like, "Come get this man!" Like he's seriously hurt.
Well, I can feel him. And that's the same reason why Bret Hart hates Goldberg, because Goldberg ended his career in professional wrestling.
Ended his
being
career.
Being unsafe, you know, and obviously this blood doping and actually getting caught ended Lance Armstrong's career. You know,
Is Drew Bledsoe bitter? Is Drew Bledsoe bitter after the hit he took and then Tom Brady came on, and he never saw the field again.
That made me hate the Patriots. I had a little bit of love for the Patriots because Drew Bledsoe was one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch back in the day in college. Like he was one of my
wasn't bad.
favorite
He was a
quarterbacks
decent
in the league.
quarterback.
Now, yeah, they might not have won the Super Bowl with him. They probably could have, but Drew Bledsoe was an excellent quarterback in my opinion. But shit happens. It's unfortunately shit happens. Shit happens. But it's like, you know what? Funny, because I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and they name dropped something that anytime I think of, well, I can't equate these two because the Live Strong thing, as we mentioned, if there's any positive that we could take out of what happened with Lance Armstrong, it's the Live Strong Foundation. You know what I'm saying? Like even I
Right.
donated to Live Strong to get them bands. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
they've definitely raised a lot of money for cancer research and trying to find a cure and all that. And thanks to Lance Armstrong for that. You know what I'm saying? But in some ways, I wanted to. No, I'm not even gonna say it because it's not even equal to a scam because the Live Strong wasn't a scam or a scandal. The scandal was Armstrong faking the funk, doing his best Pete Rose impression, saying he never did it. He never did it. He never did it. And I think
Right.
he did finally admit to it later. I think he did admit to it years down the line. I don't remember if he did it on Oprah or something like that, but I believe he did admit to it on camera eventually. Like, yeah, I did it. But he waited for years and years of disgrace to get pushed along. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why am I echoing now? But
No, you good. Go ahead.
But TJ, this is gonna be a little bit of. I know we've been rabbit holing off in other things, but as I said, my number one. Here's my video of trying to get into the school because I heard that they needed some players, yo. Bishop Sycamore. Hold on, we got a comment on the board. I'll pop that comment up in a little bit, whoever that is. Bishop Sycamore is the number one. Can you hear it, TJ?
No.
Okay. I forgot to, you know what? I fucked that up, y'all. Sorry for the dead air, but we're gonna get it. We're gonna play it right now. I forgot to click to make sure that the audio plays. Share audio. But here we go. Let me.
You sure that's correct?
Yeah, I'm sure that's the right information. This is 1970. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I want to make the team. Shit, damn. What? Yeah, I was born in 2002. That's right. I'm sorry, Coach. I was born in 2002. You know, I don't want to ruin none of my scholarship opportunities. So let me make the team, man. Bishop Sycamore, man. I'm with y'all. Let's go, Bishop Sycamore. That was me trying, and it was fucked up because I didn't do the math properly when I freestyled all that. 2002, I would have been 19 years old this year. So but with Bishop Sycamore, as we heard about this quote unquote fake football team that was fake football team that was off of an actual real school. It was
Didn't they
off
play
of
like
an
3
actual
days
school.
earlier? Didn't they play like
They
2
played
3 days?
yeah.
Friday night or something like that?
But let me get into this because there's a whole timeline. And this shit stems back from 2019.
Damn.
It was found the Youth Build Centurions was founded in Columbus, Ohio. They were a rebranding of the Christian Faith Academy. So this is where Bishop Sycamore started. They were started from an actual school at one time, this whole thing, right? There was another online charter school with a football team which served as its public face. The school would later rebrand again, this time as Bishop Sycamore. Fast forward a little bit into 2019. The Youth Build Centurions have a match canceled when a school in West Virginia learns they have numerous players on the roster over the age of 18. So this is why I could have made the team at 19 years old. Fast forward to September 2020. Bishop Sycamore plays his first recorded football game on Max Preps, losing 35-0 to a non-conference opponent. October 2020, Bishop Sycamore plays IMG Academy for the first time in their season finale. Bishop Sycamore loses 56-6, finishing the
Jesus.
2020 season with a 0-6 record, with their closest game being 37-14. And then it says Bishop Sycamore and IMG will meet in less than a year on ESPN. 2021, April 2021. Bishop Sycamore spins up its online hype machine through a website which has since been shut down, showing it's closed for maintenance. In it, nothing is mentioned of educational goals or support for students. Instead, the only information available is a series of blog posts detailing upcoming private workouts for college teams and how the school recommends players create highlight clips to be noticed. August 19 of this year, Bishop Sycamore opens the season with a 38-0 loss against Archbishop Hoban. August 27th of 2021, Bishop Sycamore plays Rose Sox in Pennsylvania, losing 19-7. And then the duping and scamming of all scams comes this year that I'm going to share with y'all. When they played their game on ESPN for the world to see. And this happens.
Bishop Sycamore told us they had a number of Division I prospects on their roster. To be frank, a lot of that we could not verify. And they did not show up in our database. They did not show up in the databases of other recruiting services. So it's okay. If that's what you're telling us, fine. That's how we take it in. From what we've seen so far, this is not a fair fight. And there's got to be a point now, Lutz, where you do worry about health and safety.
I already am worried about it. I think it's this could potentially be dangerous given the circumstances and mismatch that we have here. And quite honestly, Bishop Sycamore doesn't have not only frontline players, but they don't have the depth in case something were to happen to their roster with maybe a kid or two here throughout the remaining 2.5 quarters of this football game.
Crazy. They made a nationally televised game on ESPN, lying their way onto TV. Now, I will say this though, TJ, like, shame on the people at ESPN who fell for this shit, because how do you even just have the notion to believe that this team has nationally ranked prospects and they
can't find one?
But they never won a game. They get stomped out by everybody. What team do you know that has nationally ranked players that get stomped out like that?
None. Because a nationally ranked player would not play for an ass team like that at no way, shape, or form.
It don't,
At all. Why would you even want to play for a team that's getting washed on a regular basis like this? It's not even close. They're not even scoring. They're getting shut out. I can see if they were scoring, but they're not even scoring. They're getting blown out.
And I think they lost that game to IMG Academy. I think I heard 56-0.
56-0.
Like,
and they probably pulled all the starters after halftime, and they still couldn't score against them. You're not scoring against the B team.
It was noted that this team also had people who had junior college experience. So if this squad is trying to set up recruiting days and workout day, like, who's taking you serious? Who the fuck is taking you serious when you get stomped out by everybody?
Yo,
It
what kind
don't
of
make no
workouts are you
sense.
doing that you get stomped like that, bro? What is it? Some dude in the basement doing push-ups and shit. What kind of fucking
Exactly.
workouts
Like,
are these, bro?
all right, you did a few burpees and pads. Let's put you at linebacker. Like, come on. Like, what the fuck?
That's
Like,
crazy, bro.
this is literally like the replacements. The recent Adam
Yeah,
Sandler one with Nelly and Chris
yeah,
Rock and all of them. Like,
yeah,
this is the
yeah.
replacement.
And that was a better team. And that was a
Yeah.
better team.
Oh, I'm a son of a bitch. I'm a son of a bitch. I'm a son of a bitch. How? I'm a son of a bitch. Like, that's the type of players you had on this team, and they were all ass. They were all ass.
That's crazy.
This
That is
is
crazy.
why. This is why Bishop Sycamore to me is the number one biggest scandal to me in sports history. Yo, shout outs to Hollis, as he said. How did they get so many of these motherfuckers to go along with this shit? Like, yeah, come play with us. Yeah, we're gonna be on. Yo, they sold people a fake bill of goods, and that actually turned real because they got on TV.
Well, I
Only
mean,
to
if
get
you're on
smacked.
Bishop Sycamore and Scouts and Watchers, you didn't do yourself no favors, though. They know what they don't want. They don't want you because you suck.
Exactly. Exactly.
We want the guys that ran that score up to 56-0. That's the guys we're looking for.
Exactly.
Yes.
You
I want that
was
guy
out
to play
there
for me.
producing film for IMG Academy. Like this was
That's crazy.
this was Nebraska whooping on Fordham yesterday. Like,
I don't even know how that even got to be, but yeah.
Well, that's how it works in college football. The bigger ranked school pays the lesser school, and you're pretty much
play them?
paying. Yeah, you're almost paying them for a scrimmage in some respects. If you think about it,
Jesus.
you know,
That's crazy.
But even though teams like Appalachian State a few years back,
Yeah.
shocked the world, you know, like
Yeah.
it can happen. It can happen if you have quality players,
If you have
If
the
you
right people, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, if you take the best D2 school and put them against a subpar D1 school, it'll be a game for sure. They're not going to beat the Miamis or the Ohio States of the world, but you might put them against a D1 school that doesn't have the best of the best players. Shit. And you saw that Netflix school with the JUCOs, that JUCOs college. They had real players on that team that just couldn't
Last
make
chance
it.
you.
Last chance.
And
Those kids
both
were
of them-
no joke.
Yeah, they had all the teams that they showed. Even though I know the last one that they showed, the team was really, they weren't that good, but they were all ballers. They all had legit ballers.
Yeah,
They all had legit ballers and made sure the kids went to school.
right.
You
They
know,
make
shit
sure they
like
got
that,
they make sure they got their ride. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
did. You seen the level of concern from all the way from the guidance counselors or the whoever, the student advisors to the coaches to everybody, made sure they told, they kind of let these kids know, like, this isn't your last stop. You can get your degree from here, but we want to help you work towards making
Your dream.
your D1
Right.
dream. Or
Right.
at least make it to Division II to get seen a little bit enough by the NFL. Something,
Right.
Like
Some of those kids were D1 dropouts and they were trying to get back.
right,
So
or D1 fuck ups. Like there was
Right.
the one kid on from the team that did the first 2 years of it, who
Yes.
I think he was the quarterback. I think he was on Florida. He was on a couple different teams, but got in some serious trouble, and then got
Right.
bounced back. Had to restart. Some of them kids thought they were hothead, thought they were the shit too much to where they're like, oh, I don't fucking need this because I'm gonna make D1. But then they quickly learned you still needed the education to go along with it. You could be as hot in whatever you feel. You still needed to finish the classes to get to where you want to go. Bishop Sycamore ain't offering none of that shit. They don't even know none of that shit. And let's remember, this was high school level football. high
Yeah.
school level. You're bringing people 19 years old, junior college level. So that's probably 20, 21. Like you're bringing people who shouldn't even be on the field with high schoolers to fucking
And it's still
lose.
getting washed. To still get washed.
Do you understand why I picked them as the number one scam ever in sports? Do you understand?
Oh my
I
god.
think this is plain as clear as day. Like this is why you scammed your way onto ESPN and they fell for it. I
Hook,
didn't
line,
want to
and
hate.
sinker.
I want to give them a round of applause. Fucking incredible
Yeah, they
job you
did.
did.
They did their job. They did their job. They did their job.
You made it onto TV once, now, and these grown ass men on that team, you can't take it away from them, even though they could get roasted for the rest of their life because they're getting stomped out by 16 and 17-year-olds.
Dude, I don't think if I was a kid who played on that losing team, I would want nobody to see that video ever. And that shit is going to be immortalized forever. They'll always bring up,
Forever.
oh, remember that time IMG played Bishop Sycamore and they got washed? Yo, they lucky they didn't have the names on the back of their jerseys, or else it'd been worse. You know what I'm saying? It would have been worse.
But that there too, TJ, that even explained further the scam. You went out with the most generic black with white number jerseys, helmets. Like this was like the fucking like this is like the witness protection team. Like this was like team witness protection. They didn't want nobody to know who the fuck they were. And rightfully so, when you're getting stomped out each and every time you play.
Were they getting money though? Were they getting money to play
You don't
these
get
games?
money. You don't get money in high school for high school.
So I don't even understand what the purpose was for scamming so hard.
Probably because, all right, bringing it back to talking about SMU. Bringing it back to talking about SMU. Think about it. You as the coach or the person running the organization, you quote unquote trying to put these kids in positions to be seen by top colleges, boosters, such and such, and this and that and the third. If you have a certain quality level athlete, 50,000 in my pocket, and I could make sure I guide this kid to want to choose your school.
Yeah, but the talent they're pushing out, bro.
Right, but I don't know if that's being done either. But it's that simple. It's that simple of a scam. And then to know with this whole scam going on that the coach has active warrants out on his head, like
how are you on national television with active warrants though, bro? Me, I'm right here. I'm right here. Hey. See the score?
Rap snitches. Telling all their business. Sit in the court and be their own star witness. Do you see the perpetrator? Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Fuck around, get your whole label sent up for years. Rest in peace, Daniel Dumile. You're a prophet.
Yo, I am right here, my guy, on the sidelines, doing my job.
Hello, Judge. Hi, prosecutor. Look at me. Look what I'm doing. You see, maybe that was a part of his thing was, he gotta be doing positive for the community. So why not better on TV, looking like you're doing positive for the community?
What is the saying? The audacity is at an all-time high. This shit is ridiculous. Active warrants, not just warrant. He got a warrant. Active warrants. Plural, like nigga.
As Skip Bayless we used to say, this is ass a 8, ass a 9, ass a 10. Like so this is the end of the Starting Five podcast for this week. TJ, there's no other way to end this shit. Like we could just sit here staring into the screen like how? Why? I do not know of any other scamming type of situation in sports that is bigger than this, that have went in for this long, with the exception of the blood doping. We could say, that was 7+ years or whatever. But the depths that this one went to, all to culminate on ESPN television.
Well,
as you get stomped
this
out.
is a myriad of people. This is a myriad of people not doing their job, though. Like, this is like levels. You know what the levels you got to go through to get a nationally televised game, bro? Like,
the people who allowed
wow.
this shit should be fired. Straight up. Like, how?
Wow.
How?
Wow.
Exactly.
And the announcers are looking stupid. The announcers are looking stupid on the air because they're like, yo, we're just here to report the game. We didn't pick the teams. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Like, what were they going by? This is player X, player Y, player number 5.
Yeah,
player number like old
he's
school NCAA
from
college football, and this is player number.
Yeah.
Player
Oh,
number
we got a Tyrell Smith from West Bumblefuck, starting at safety. Like, where are they getting these people's information from? Oh man, that's too funny. That's too funny.
This was
a good show. This is a good makeup show. This is a good makeup show.
Yeah, this was hold on, let me find it. This was the way they pulled up the rosters here, right? This was reminiscent of what I'm about to show right now. If YouTube don't strike it down, but I gotta drop this shit because this is exactly what I'm thinking of as they announce these players on on Bishop Sycamore. This is exactly what it reminded me, TJ.
Showcase their skill. Squads, aren't there, Jeff?
And that's Tal Goyle, Smoochie Wallace, University of Miami.
Desquarius Green Jr., University of Notre Dame.
Ibrahim Moises, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga.
Jack Marius Tack-Theratrix, Michigan State University.
The Isaiah T. Billings Clyde.
I remember that shit.
He said Clyde. That's how they had to introduce. Yeah, that's how they had to introduce the Bishop Sycamore players. Like, I bet you actually they didn't even show faces. They showed the silhouette with the question mark in it. Holy shit. But yeah, man, this is a good one. This is a good way to correct the wrongs from yesterday, man. You know what to do.
Shout out to everybody who supports and loves the show. Shout out to Katara and JP. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it this week. Shout out to you, the mayor, for making this possible again. Love doing shows like this. I think I got another funny idea for next week's show, but I'll talk to you about it behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and
we do.
And shout out to Hollis for finding us on day 2 of the technical difficulties show. Good looking out, kid.
Word up. Y'all know what to do. I don't need to even say it anymore. Nope, wrong corner. Bottom right corner of the screen, scan that QR code to go to the star5podcast.com. Top corner of the screen, scan that QR code to join the Facebook group if you're watching on YouTube and not watching from the Star 5 Podcast Facebook group, or if you're in HHDG right now, watching from the Star 5 Podcast Facebook group, not watching from the Star 5 Podcast, but scan that code right up there. It'll bring you right to the group. Press join. Answer the 3 simple questions. Don't be like that idiot that I keep quoting that said, on the question, will you support and share the podcast? He said no. His ass didn't get in. Don't be that person. And with that being said, for everybody, we out. Peace. See y'all next week.
Peace.